Welcome to Community Spotlight. I'm Cheryl Girl, and it's been a minute, but we're so glad to be back in your homes. We've got an exciting season coming up for you, and once again, thank you for being part of this show that we put together. And a special shout out to Mr. Tyrone Chandler, who is the workhorse behind all of this. Now, to start off our season, we're going to hit a subject that a lot of people don't know about and maybe might be a little iffy about talking about. We're going to talk about cancer. And my guest today is Mr. Robert LASCO. How you doing?
Doing absolutely fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing great. You look good.
Thank you. Thank you.
But you got a story to tell.
Yes, I do. I do.
Because now, just to look at you, you look like the picture of health. But today you're here to talk about, and I'm going to get it right because we practice it. It is multiple myeloma.
There you go.
And it's a form of cancer. Tell me more about what that is.
Multiple myeloma is a blood cancer.
Okay.
Okay, in the family of leukemia, lymphoma, then it's multiple myeloma. And multiple myeloma affects they call it the bone marrow, okay, which causes, once multiple myeloma start producing and produce bad plasma cells, then causes our immune system to drop and then our bones to start breaking. So that's what multiple myeloma does.
Okay, and the reason you know so much about it is because you have dealt with it.
I have.
And you're sitting here looking good today, but tell us your story. How did all this start out for you?
My story starts in February 2013. I went to the emergency room on February 14th. On the 15th, they found a plasmacytoma tumor on my T8T9.
Wait. Okay. Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
Went to the emergency room.
Correct.
And then the next day, after you done spent Valentine's Day at the hospital, they found a what?
A plasmacytoma tumor on
Plasmacytoma tumor.
On my T8T9.
And what is your T8T9? Something we can talk about?
That's in
mixed
your
company?
spine. That's in your spine. You got your L's are kind of in the lower. Your T's are up in the middle of your back.
Okay.
And so before I got there, I was paralyzed. I went through a whole big process. So by the time they found this tumor that morning, they had to go in and cut that tumor. And then I had to go through 12 bouts of radiation. I had to learn how to walk all over again.
Had you been sick before? Did you have any symptoms or anything? You were just living life, getting ready for Valentine's Day, or were you not feeling well?
My daughter wasn't too happy because that's her birthday.
Oh.
So what happened was is that I was dealing with I had sciatica a long time ago. I had blew out my back working for the city of Charlotte.
Now, what did you do for the city of Charlotte?
Well, we were manhole inspectors.
Okay.
And so we were the first team that ever put sound, we call it sound to the ground, but through the sewer lines, knowing where the blockages are, so we can not just clean one part, but clean the part that's blocked.
So as you tell this story, it's important for people to realize that you're someone who has worked with your body. So you're used to being physical and being in good health and going out there and being active and doing things. So this must have been a big blow to be. When you went to the hospital, you were paralyzed?
I was paralyzed. What was the big blow was is that on February 19th, I met a man named Dr. Boyd. Boyd. And so Dr. Boyd told me, he said, Mr. LASCO, I want to let you know that you do have cancer. And I'm laying on my back, of course, and I'm looking at him. Now, your first thought came to my mind, Cheryl, was my mom died of cancer, my dad died of cancer. You see, my mind is just, everything is flowing now. And so he said, you have multiple myeloma. Then my brain stopped. I said, what is multiple myeloma? You know, we heard of colon cancer, we heard of breast cancer, and
different
lung
types.
cancer, all these different types that African Americans know.
Right.
But I never heard of that cancer. So
I hadn't heard of it till today.
Right. So it threw me off. It really threw me off. So I went through all the crying and all that, but I went through a process at Carolina Rehab. I went there for a whole month. I left March 28th, but I had to learn how to do everything over again.
So when they found the tumor, they went in and did surgery and removed it?
They did. They cut it, from my understanding, and then the 12 bouts of radiation disintegrated the tumor.
So paralysis,
I have no
cancer diagnosis.
Go ahead. Come on, talk to me.
Surgery, rehabilitation.
Correct.
And chemo.
Yes, ma'am.
12 bouts.
12 bouts of radiation.
Radiation,
now,
excuse
with
me.
the radiation. Now, with when we came back to the chemo, Multiple myeloma is on a whole new different level. They call it strategic chemo. This chemo is like Revlimid. It's a pill that you take. Velcade is an infusion. Dex is steroids. That's what we call it.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the three. Revlimid, Velcade, and Dex was what I started on.
So that's the chemo part.
That's the chemo part.
So did you do radiation?
So we did do radiation.
So you did all of it.
We did it all.
But the thing, though, is that it was not a death sentence.
No, but in your mindset, in your psyche, that's the first thing comes to your mind.
But apparently you got past that, and
Yes.
that's why you're here today. So how is this disease really affecting the African American community? Is it hitting us more or less, or?
From my understanding, we've been trying to talk to certain doctors, trying to get a better number than just a 2.5 African Americans. That's what they use. If you go to American Cancer Society, they're going to 2.5 African Americans. We're like, okay, so we got 2.5 African Americans. We got 9 states that are affected, but North Carolina is one of the highest.
Really? Now, why?
Okay.
You know why that is?
Don't have the answers at this time. We're talking to Dr. Usmani, Dr. Rodriguez. We're talking to Dr. Favaro. We're talking to different doctors trying to find out, or really put our hands on what is really going on. Why does it affect us more? Now, let me say this. Multiple myeloma first diagnosis was in 1884. This cancer is over 168 years old.
And nobody's knowing.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Good information.
This is the crazy part about it. They don't know why. They don't know why it comes up, shows up. They don't know. Have no idea how it hits you. Only thing they know is that they can. It's a chronic disease.
Right.
We can get you to live the rest of your life with this disease. I hope I'm making good sense.
No,
here
you're making very good sense.
You know, but they know that. But when I ask, well, where did it come from? It's not in your genealogy.
No one in your family's ever had it.
Now I did find out. Now when I was talking to my cousin, my cousin's children.
Right. They live here in North Carolina?
No, they were in Virginia.
Virginia.
They were actually
still
in
here on the
Pittsburgh.
East Coast, right?
Well, yeah, they're in Pittsburgh, up in that area. But when I found out, she had passed many years ago because of our family, we call it fractured, meaning that therefore there was not too much communication between my dad and his sisters and them. But when I found out about it, I told them that I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. The phone got quiet. Then they said, hey, my mom died of that. So my cousin died of multiple myeloma.
Wow.
And didn't know anything about it.
Well, and I think that's one of the interesting things that a lot of people, like when my grandmother came along, she would not even say the word cancer out loud.
Right.
I mean, she would not say it, period. She'd say, the C, she's got that thing.
Right.
But the whole thing is, you're telling me right now we need to get these conversations going.
Got to.
Not only within our community, but within our families.
Yes, ma'am.
And just get rid of the secrets. Let's all find out, because in the end, the more information we have, the healthier we can all be.
Right, because I was very proactive against colon cancer, going to the doctor, being checked and stuff. I was going to the doctor all the time. But the first thing I ever heard of was multiple myeloma. I was like, I don't know nothing about it.
Right.
Then we want to get mad at our general practitioners and say, you should know. Well, not really. If they don't, if it's not in your genealogy, it's not a misdiagnosis.
Right.
It can't be. But that's what we say. Wait, why didn't you know? Well, my doctor didn't know. So I was mad at her, and I had to realize I had no reason to be mad at her because she did everything that she knew to do to take care of me.
So let's just talk about the whole issue of being mad.
Okay.
You're mad because you're like, hey, the doc, my general practitioner didn't warn me. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
Correct.
But the thing that I'm getting from you the most is, you're so proactive and you're getting this information out here.
Correct.
So were you ever angry with yourself or with God, or how did you get from laying there flat on your back thinking my mama's gone, my daddy's gone, and now they're gonna tell me this?
Correct. Well, one thing, Shirley, I gotta admit that I was mad. Well, I was mad with God. I'm gonna tell you, I'm very real with that. Some church folks don't want to hear that.
But that's real.
But I had some choice words at the time. Was that right thing? No, at the time it wasn't, but
It was the real thing.
it was real to me.
Right.
But I will say that my relationship with God is beyond, above board and beyond now, because I do realize He lives. I do know that I've seen miracles in that rehab. I saw people who was diagnosed to go, would actually flatline, as you said. Those people's testimonies have come back and they're living today.
Wow.
So my heartbeat with this whole thing about myeloma is to flip this city and the surrounding counties about multiple myeloma. Now here's the reason. I told you about when I went to rehab.
Right.
Told you when it stopped March 28th. Went to Dr. Boyd, which is an oncology specialist.
Okay.
Throwing names.
I see.
So went to oncology
giving shout outs.
took the Revlimid and Velcade. In September of that year, I went into remission.
Wonderful.
Okay, September to November, December, I went and had they call it a stem cell transplant. That I went to UNC Chapel Hill with Dr. Carr.
That's my school. Go Heels. Go Heels.
So I went up there and I got my stem cell transplant. And they didn't put me on any what they call maintenance.
Right.
So at that time, I'm doing fine. December 5th last year.
So what's that mean when you say maintenance? You got a stem cell transplant, and what's the maintenance part
Okay,
of
the
it?
maintenance is like Revlimid. Okay, they give you a low dose of Revlimid.
So it's medication.
Correct.
Okay.
It's still part of the chemo. Remember I said Revlimid, Velcade.
Because you throw in a lot of technical terms and drug names out there.
Right.
So I'm trying to keep up. I hope y'all can keep up with us. So Chapel Hill,
correct.
Stem cell transplant, but no maintenance.
With no maintenance.
So then
now, but let me just say this: I did have the old school chemo too. That's when I lost my hair and certain other parts. But but I leave that alone. So anyway, we lost it. So anyway. So at that end of that,
But everything's okay now.
Everything's fine.
Okay.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
You never lost your sense of humor, and that's what's
Lord.
important.
Yes, trust me. So what happened was December 5th of last year, 2015. I ended up going to Dr. Usmani. So with Dr. being
Now, which hospital is that here in Charlotte?
Yeah, that's LCI, down in Levine Cancer Institute. And he told us that my count had went back up. And so now I'm in relapse. I relapsed. So now I'm on Revlimid, and it's called Capralis Index. So Capralis is the one they use, which is an infusion. They use that for those who relapse. Now, this is the crazy part of multiple myeloma folks don't understand.
Okay.
Everybody's journey is not the same.
Right.
Everybody's cocktail, this is what I use,
The cocktail.
is not the same. So I'm saying is that multiple myeloma have 18 faces, 18 plus faces. Okay?
Wow.
Which most people don't understand.
So when let me make sure that I understand. When you say 18 faces, there are 18 different types of the disease, or 18 different types of cocktails or medications?
Well, they use different medications. You write different cocktails.
Because each case is different.
Each case is different. So you can't say, I can't say if you had multiple myeloma that you will be on
the same thing that you're taking.
That I'm on. Right, correct, because you could be RVD.
Okay.
You could be on something else.
Okay, now here's the thing. Let's talk about standing in the gap.
Okay.
Because we got your story out there, and we see that you're looking good.
You
you look good.
Quick
You look good. You got your hair back everywhere.
Yeah.
But Standing in the Gap, this is an organization that you're working with, and they can give us more information about this disease.
Right.
So tell us about this.
This book right here, and I hope everybody can see this book right here, Standing in the Gap. It comes out with Celgene has pushed it out there, but I worked with Celgene to get this. They're targeting the 2.5 African Americans.
What is Celgene?
Celgene is a pharmaceutical organization that produced the
cocktail.
One of the cocktails is called Revlimid. Okay, awesome. I met the whole team. They are awesome people, dedicated for change in our lives, and they want to see change. So my Heartbeat of America, they give me this information, and I give this to our people to educate. Now this book is very, very educational. As I
Okay.
told you again, Cheryl,
So where do they get these?
they put all this information, they get all the information from American Cancer Society to MMRF to IMF, which is Multiple Myeloma Research Fund, to International Myeloma Fund. They get all these information from different doctors.
Or we can just go to
and all that.
Facebook.
Well, go to Facebook.
Go to Facebook,
If you want to,
Standing in the Gap.
go to Facebook, Standing in the Gap. Yeah, they are on Facebook. You can hit it. And we're a part of the family just as well. But if you need information, we got a lot of material that we can pass out. I think this is some good information.
Okay, and we want people to get the information and start finding out about their family histories and talking about the different things that are going on. Now, you guys have a big fundraiser coming up next year.
Right.
Tell me about that.
On March, in the month of March, we're doing Laugh for Life. And
Laugh for Life.
Laugh for Life, multiple myeloma fundraiser. That's our annual. And what we do is we invite all the patients who have multiple myeloma. They get in free.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. And then they get in there for that moment to forget about multiple myeloma, the bad part about it.
Right.
Now, what do I mean by the bad part?
Yeah.
I believe that when I was in the hospital, I didn't think I was coming out the hospital. I didn't think I was going to be sitting here looking at you. I didn't believe that I was going to sit out there and look at, I'm seeing TV, but this was going to be it.
Wow.
In the wheelchair and all the above stuff. But because this cancer affects 60 and up, the youngest was at 22. This young lady, Caucasian female, she's 23.
23.
But some of my friends have died in their mid-30s and some mid-40s. I was hit in my 50s. So
That's a huge range.
that's where the range has gotten bigger.
Wow.
And so what we're doing is, so by us focusing in more on getting this information out, I'm praying that we can just change the mindset of our people. Now, you just made a big statement about talking more.
Yes.
Not looking at, this is my cancer. This ain't your cancer. I don't understand it, but we get to this thing about this is not your cancer. This is something that I believe that comes straight from the pits of hell, pretty personally,
Really?
perfectly honest with you. Cancer, period. We have over 200 plus cancer cells in our bodies. 200 plus and maybe more, and they're just changing. We don't know
So
where.
everybody has cancer cells,
Everybody has cancer cells.
and it's just what happens.
What
do they
triggers it?
develop? What goes on with them?
What triggers it? We don't know if it's the food. We don't know if it's the environment, the water.
Something in
Say
North
something.
Carolina.
We even looking at the point of Agent Orange.
Wow. So now, were you military?
No, I was not. No, I'm not. But my heart
Wow.
beat is that we have a big flow of myeloma patients that were in the military, that are especially, it's a big problem.
Well, so if now that you've been through it, and someone's sitting at home right now and they're looking, okay, well I been exposed to Agent Orange, or I've had back issues. What are some of the things that you know now that may have been telltale signs of something going on in your body that you didn't know at the time was cancer, but that we could look at now and say, hey, let me go to my doctor. I saw this TV show, heard Robert LASCO, get this information out, check me.
Right. Well, one of the biggest things that I found out was that when I started issues with my back, I was thinking that I was having sciatica. Now, from there, it wasn't sciatica.
Right.
But then when you start having problems with your back and nobody can put their finger on it, that's a sign. Number two, your protein in your urine. That's one of the biggest keys. If you have a high ratio of protein in your urine, I would say, now understand, I'm not saying that you have multiple myeloma. I don't wish that on nobody. But I said consider it. You see.
So let me ask you this. So protein in your urine, is that specific to the multiple myeloma, or is that cancer in general?
It's just, for me, multiple myeloma. This is talking about myeloma.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, and were there any other signs? Your back?
My
your urine?
back was that, and once they did that, it retired me. I can say that much. But at this time, those were the issues that I had. So I'm not. Next time you bring me, I could bring a doctor in with me.
Well,
that can
you
give
know
you
what?
more intel.
I think sometimes just talking to someone who's actually been through it, it can give you sometimes it's too many terms, too many medical terms,
Exactly.
too much stuff, and we don't know what you're talking about. But to hear someone say, this is what they went through, they survived it, they're thriving,
Correct.
and they're got big things happening, you're reaching out to the community.
Right.
So back to the fundraiser in March.
Well, in March, we're doing our live, that's our annual.
Now, where does it take place?
It takes place at the Comedy Zone.
So you have comedians who come in.
That is correct.
And you bring in the patients. Do you bring in any of the people who work in the field, like the doctors and practitioners?
They come in for 15 minutes. We're bringing a doctor or a nurse practitioner, give them 15 minutes to talk, and then on with the show. So it's up to them.
But it's a night of fun.
It's a night of fun. But we have to put the educational piece in there because of LASCO Cancer Fund, which the organization will run. We got 3 lights. That's the first light will be for what we're doing here right now.
Okay.
Second light is for the patients, which is our annual, what we do called Laugh for Life. But our third light, which happened in October 10th in Winston-Salem, we don't have the venue at this time, but we're working with Baptist Hospital, Dr. Rodriguez and all, and a couple of other organizations to get this information out to doctors. Now, what is the third light does is what we're doing right now.
So you're saying the third light?
The third light.
That's third light.
The third light brings doctors, we bring in doctors together, nurse practitioners, hematologists, oncologists, sit down and talk about multiple myeloma. Why? Is because your life matters. My life matters. We want doctors that want to stay on the cutting edge of wanting to make a difference in this fight against myeloma. Because we started it last year, October 15th, at Johnson C. Smith. So in November 5th, we'll be back.
So what exactly did you do? Was it like a forum, or was it the comedy show?
It was a forum on this one. This was more of a, if you want to call it a symposium, but we had, they come in, each doctor has a PowerPoint and they teach on certain things, which I have no clue what to be talking about, but we want to bring those nurse practitioners in general practice.
And this is something that's open to the public? They can all come in?
Oh, no, this is direct.
Oh, this is directly medical.
The medical. This is directly for the medical.
Now, that's very interesting. I don't think I've ever talked to anyone who has talked about, educating the people in the medical field.
Well, it's very important.
It's critical importance.
You got all these different cancers going on. You got leukemia going on, and it has different faces. You got lymphoma. It has different faces. Now you have multiple myeloma. We as African Americans have dealt with, I think we had 5, I don't know if this is the 6th cancer now that's on the list that's saying that, we have these different issues.
So wait, the list, so where would I find the list of cancers that particularly affect the African American community?
If you go to the American Cancer Society, they'll break it down for you.
Wow.
Yeah, we are truly in a fight. We don't really deal with it because we're not going down to Levine Cancer Institute. We're not going to these different cancer what do you say?
Like seminars and workshops and
doctors,
stuff?
or they're different places who deal with it.
Well, so, I mean, unless you're dealing with the illness or someone in your family, I never really thought, oh, well, I'll just go attend a workshop on it. But I guess you need to.
Well, yeah, I believe that we do. I believe that we need to. That's the biggest thing is that you ask ourselves, what do we need to pray for? Well, how do you know what to pray for if you don't know? When I gave you this book, this gives you the insight and information about how this cancer functions. So we can pray against this, right?
Yes, we can.
So that's the key. So now I know that it goes into the bone marrow. I know where it affects this and that and A, B, and C, so we can come against that in prayer.
Well, since you brought up prayer and you've told us your story and we've seen how you are thriving and you're out here and you're putting the work into the community, tell me what you pray for, Robert.
I pray for, my heartbeat is just change, a miracle, a cure.
Are you talking about for yourself?
For everybody.
For everybody.
I just don't, I would love to see the cure come to multiple myeloma. As we have heard, some cures, it has happened. It has happened. But I'm talking about something consistent where therefore we're not talking about somebody's trying to get fat off of. That's going to cost you this crazy type money. It's very expensive for these chemo, that's a lot of money. We need a lot of help in a lot of areas. Why can't we, believe God for a miracle that therefore one person will come up with this plan and eliminate cancer altogether.
I can pray with you on that.
And I want that to happen because that's not the way that we're supposed to go out.
No.
And that's just that's what I believe, you know. So that's my prayer for those who go through from ovarian cancer on the pains. I've met people on different levels. And the sad part about it is that I met a young boy, 13 years old, a unique cancer I've never heard of in my life. That young man is not with us today. At 13.
13, that's
at
crazy.
13 years old. So they're being affected all over. So yes, I'm talking about multiple myeloma because I can target only one cancer. But there's multitudes of cancers out here that needs to be addressed.
Well, I want to say thank you for bringing this information to us today. And once again, if you'd like more information about it, go to on Facebook, go to Standing in the Gap.
That's right.
Get ready for the fundraiser called
Laugh for Life.
Laugh for Life. That's going to take place in March of 2017.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
And there'll be lots of comedians, there'll be information, there'll be lots of fun. And we want people to come out. And you know, kind of put cancer on the back burner for a night and enjoy themselves.
Correct.
But most importantly, we want people to pray.
Right.
And if they want more information about you, Robert, now how do they get in contact with you? Can we call you?
You can call.
Will you go out and speak to different groups?
We go to different
I don't think you have any problem talking, do you?
Not a problem. You can reach us at 8539 Monroe Road, Suite 109. Of course, Charlotte, NC 28212, LASCO Cancer Fund. Or go online at lascocancerfund.org, and we'll be willing to come to your businesses. Go to your churches. We'll bring in doctors, nurse practitioners, and pharmacists, certified people, to talk about this cancer.
Do you need volunteers?
I need volunteers every day.
Every day?
Every day, because we are trying, our objective is to cover every county.
Every county.
And the problem is I don't have the manpower that I would love to have to get out here and get this information out.
Well, I think that you'll be surprised by how many people will see this and respond to you and let you know that they want to be part of it, be part of the effort to make a big difference. Again, Robert, thank you for coming out, and it's the LASCO Cancer
Fund. And that number is 980-209-0606. God bless you.
You're natural at this. Thank you again. And thank you everyone who's joined us today on Community Spotlight. We're going to have more great shows this season. And if you want to make a difference, make sure that you check out, you can go to facebook.com, Standing in the Gap. This man right here has put out a powerful message, and we want you to be part of the solution. And if you don't do anything else in this moment, pray with us. Let's pray for a cure. I'm Cheryl Girl. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you.
You guys come back to Community Spotlight. Thank you for your time, and thank you for checking out Access 21.